Today I have somewhere special to go. I need to go to the Consulate General of the United States in Shanghai. So, I am in a DD now. A DD is basically like an Uber or a Lyft. We're on our way to the metro station, and then we'll take the metro to the consulate. So, why do I need to go to the U.S. consulate? Well, a couple reasons. First, my middle child his passport is expiring, and I'm going to need to get him a new one. But secondly, you may remember we've had a new baby. Well, the new baby needs a new passport and needs his U.S. citizenship recognized, so we need to go to the consulate to do that. So, here we go. Here we are going into the metro station to get on our way. Go to the consulate. It'll be a long trip because it's quite far from Lingang, where we live. And here I am, on board the train, going to the U.S. consulate. But what is the U.S. consulate? That is to say, what is a consulate? Well, it's a representation of a foreign country in another country. You may have already heard of an embassy. These are somewhat better known. An embassy is a diplomatic mission headed up by an ambassador. That is to say, by the leading representative of one country to another country. An ambassador will always be sent to the national capital because it's his job to interact with leaders in the host government. And for that reason, embassies are always in capitals. If a country wants to establish another mission outside the capital, for example in Shanghai, which is not the capital of China, that would usually be called a consulate. It's not headed up by an ambassador, but by a consul, most often a consul general. And if so, then the mission is called a Consulate General. And by the way, the plural of consul general is consuls general, not consul generals. And the plural of the mission is consulates general. So you can find these most often in major cities like Shanghai, or other cities in China that have a fair number of consulates include Guangzhou. Shenzhen is a major city, but it doesn't have many consulates because of how close it is to Guangzhou. In other countries, you might find them in cities like, say, New York or Los Angeles in the United States, in cities like Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Again, neither of those is the capital. Or where else could you find them? Places like Osaka in Japan. Even though Tokyo is much bigger, you might run into a consulate in Osaka. Or any number of other major cities in the world that are not the capital. So what are the functions of a consulate general? Are they different to those of an embassy? Somewhat. The embassy is deeply involved in relations between the sending country's government and the host country's government. Consulates are somewhat less involved for the obvious reason that they're not there in the capital, not there close to the action of the sending of the host country's national government, but they are involved in most other functions of embassies. For example, public diplomacy, which is basically PR at a national level. It's improving the image of the country, of the sending country within the host country. They're also involved in promoting trade and other business between the sending country and the host country. They help promote travel to the sending country, for example, by issuing visas to the sending country. And the most important thing for what I'm doing today is that they provide services to citizens of the sending country living in the host country. So that's me. I am a citizen of the United States, the sending country for the consulate I'm going to. And I am going to need their services so that my son, who is also a U.S. citizen, can get his passport, and my other son can renew his. Consulates can have pretty cool consular buildings. For example, here in Shanghai, many of the consulates are located in the old concessions, where they have old European-style buildings. The main office of the U.S. consulate is in one of those. I'll show that to you now, from a time I was there before. And this is the main building of the U.S. consulate in Shanghai. The flag kind of helps you know that. It's a historic building, not really a suitable place for the public to enter, which is why they put their visa and passport offices over in another place. But it's a nice building. Not the only one in the area, too. As you can see, we've got the French consulate over here. But the U.S. consulate has multiple offices. Because there's not enough room in their main office for all their functions, they have some offices in office buildings throughout the city. And the one we're going to today is in an office building a few stops away from the main office. So we won't be going to the one I just showed you. We'll be going to a different one today, and I'll show you that later. And here it is, the big office building where the consular section is located. On the 9th floor, to be specific. And I'd love to show you what's inside when we go to the consular office, but they're not going to let me. They're going to make me check my phone in at the front desk. So I'll talk to you when I get out. Well, my first appointment for my middle son's passport renewal is over. It was pretty simple. We just gave them some papers, paid some money, had to swear an oath that the information in the passport application was true, and then they canceled his old passport and they're going to mail the new one to him. We're currently waiting for the baby's appointment for his first passport. And we're here in this shopping mall that's actually underneath the office tower where the consular office is located. And here it is. Pretty cool looking. Ooh, pretty cool lighting. Just up there you can see the name of the mall, Westgate Mall. And a player piano. How fun. But now I'm going to head over for the baby's appointment. And looks like we can get in the office tower from here, just right from the mall. And this will bring me to where I need to go. Both appointments sorted now. On our way to the metro to go home. It started raining since I got on the metro. You can see it outside on the window, I think. On our way home now after our trip to the consulate. I know I couldn't get to let you see anything inside of it, but I hope you enjoyed getting to join us on this trip and hear a little bit about how consulates work. If you did, and you'd like to see more of this or about my life in China, this would be a great time to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone. See you next time.